Hey guys, Giselle here. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Giselle Marie and I like to play in my hair. So today's video is going to be putting an age-old test to the test. I'm talking about the Strand Test to test your hair porosity. If you don't know what this is something that came out a very long time ago, kind of when the natural hair movement really started rolling in, and it's a test to test your hair porosity. If you don't know what your hair porosity is, your porosity basically is your hair's ability to absorb water, and there are certain levels that you can be, which can help define what kind of products you would need to use for your hair. So the levels are low porosity, medium porosity, and high porosity. Low porosity meaning that your hair takes a very long time to absorb water, and it just seems very dry and brittle. Medium porosity, basically, medium, your hair takes a little bit long to get wet, to absorb water, but not too long. It doesn't take extremely long to dry. And then high porosity, meaning your hair gets wet like that, sopping wet, and it holds on to moisture forever, and it really takes a hard time for you to dry your hair and get volume and things like that. Porosity is also affected by the products that you use. So, shampoo and conditioner are like the #1 components of how your hair porosity can be affected. So definitely making sure that you have really good high quality products will help you get to the porosity that is naturally yours and healthy. So I decided to do this video testing out the Strand Test versus the shower test, because recently I have been binge watching TheCurlNinja's videos. Her name is Stephanie, but she goes by TheCurlNinja on social media, and she is a professional curly hairstylist in South Florida. I've been following her on Instagram for a very long time, and she has been putting out a series of videos kind of basically, giving us the rundown on what it means to have curly hair and what it means to have certain levels of curly hair, and how you can figure out your hair from the point of view of an expert, like an actual person that went to school for hair and that does curly hair 5 days a week, for hours and hours and hours. There are a lot of natural hair YouTubers, influencers that, mean well. We all wanted to do this for fun and whatever the case is. I know I did. I just like, going and talking to the camera and editing videos and stuff like that. But realistically, I did not go to hair school. I have only experienced what is on my head, not playing around with other people's head. So listening to Stephanie's videos, all of this information, some of it I knew, some of it I didn't. So I wanted to specifically tackle porosity because it's something that's actually so important when figuring out what your hair needs that some of us may not even know. So the Strand Test basically tells you to take a cup of water and get a strand of your hair and put it in the water. If it floats or if it stays at the very top, you have low porosity. If it gets to the middle of the cup, then you have medium porosity, and if it sinks all the way down, then you have high porosity, right? Seems simple enough. So there's 2 red flags with that test. One, it's asking you to pull out a strand of your hair. Why would you want to pull out your hair, to test it out on something? That's not something that you should do. Don't ever pull out your hair, period. #2 is that a strand of hair is really, really lightweight. It floats, it doesn't sink. You would need a significant amount of hair to really test out that theory in a glass. So 1 strand really isn't gonna tell you anything. So I tested this out versus the shower test. The shower test is just getting in the shower and washing your damn hair and seeing how well your hair absorbs the water once the shower hits. So with the Strand Test, I tested it out on different areas of my head. I did the front pieces, I did the sides, I did my crown, and I did the nape area. And I also tested it out on cold water and hot water. And I left it there for about 15 minutes while I was doing my hair and things like that. So 15 minutes passed, and as you can see, honestly, nothing changed. They were all floating at the top, and I even poked some of them down to make sure they were really submerged before starting the timer, but really none of them sank, none of them did anything. They all stayed right at the top. I even added some bigger chunks of hair after I detangled to see if they would do anything, but they didn't. They all stayed at the top. So if I were to take this test for what it is, I would think that I have low porosity hair. So meaning that my hair takes a long time to get wet. It doesn't hold on to moisture. It dries out like that. And I would go on about my life thinking I had low porosity hair, right? Okay. So now moving on to the shower test. So in the shower, it's really just about, you know, wetting your hair and analyzing how long it takes to get wet. So as you can see, my hair does not take forever to get wet. It takes a little bit, you know, it takes a little, I'm moving through it, I'm raking my fingers through it, detangling and things like that, but it gets wet. It doesn't take, you know, 5 years. It gets wet pretty quickly. I wouldn't say that it's high porosity because it doesn't get sopping wet like immediately as the water hits it, but I will say that it's probably medium porosity from the shower test. So I did this on different areas of my head. We all have different textures and curl patterns throughout our head. So I tested it out on different areas. I did my front pieces because I do have some like problem areas, and what I see is that my problem areas are actually high porosity. And why I can tell this is because my curls are very stretched out when they're wet. So when your curls are really stretched out, they're really weighed down with water. So that's how you can tell that you have high porosity hair versus the majority of my hair that still has the curl to it. It's still in the curl shape, but while it's still wet, it's not like straightened out from the water. So I know that I have some front pieces that are high porosity that I have to kind of work through because that is not my natural porosity. It may have been caused by stress, heat damage, but also the products that I'm using, because the ingredients that you use affect everything that have to do with your porosity. I'm going to continue kind of building my routine around this knowledge that I have medium porosity hair. And so I need to figure out like my shampoo and conditioner first before figuring out what styling products, because styling products are like, you know, they're just a coating on top to achieve a style, but your shampoo and conditioner are what affects the health of your hair. So that's why you need to know what your porosity is. So yeah guys, I hope that this video was somewhat helpful. You know, it was kind of like a no-brainer. Like the Strand Test was just it just did not cut it. It told me I had low porosity hair, which is something that is not true, versus me getting in the actual shower and washing my hair and seeing how my hair reacts, which is, you know, something that we all should pay attention to. So I hope that this information helped. Really, I'm just relaying the information that I heard from Stephanie's videos. So I will link all of her videos about porosity in the description bar. I highly encourage like literally everybody to watch her videos because, like I said, she's a curly hair stylist. And at first glance, I mean, if you look at her, she doesn't look like me, but that's not something that I'm going to deter away from, because she works with people that look like me and like others. You know, curly hair, it has an endless spectrum. So I'm not going to determine where I get my information from just because her hair texture isn't like mine. Like, she works with it every day. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap it up because I've been talking for too much. I hope this video was informational. I hope it was helpful. And until my next video, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.